Sarah Hannah today. She is a best-selling author, serial entrepreneur, digital marketing, business consulting and strategy, and also a wellness and mindfulness coach based out of New Jersey. I have known Sarah for, I think, almost 2 years now as she's been building her businesses. She has the brand new Reflections Journal. So today we're going to be talking about her journey into the holistic space and how she brings that holistic approach to the businesses that she works with. So, Sarah, first of all, thank you for joining me. And second of all, tell us a little bit more about you, how you got into opening all of these amazing businesses and these projects that you have.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gabby, and thank you for coordinating this and bringing it all together and putting that such a like all those things together so eloquently. Thank you so much. Um, Journey wise, it's been a long journey. I think anyone who is an entrepreneur knows that it is a consistent and constant and just growing and evolving journey. And so, the short version is I started off in 2018, my full-time entrepreneurial journey in the franchising space as a consultant. And then the pandemic happened and I had to pivot. And as a yoga teacher, I kind of jumped into that. The teaching yoga part was to get me out of the house while I was working from home to keep my sanity. And then during the pandemic, really kind of jumped into that and also just started to learn more. I mean, in my technical background and affinity for technology and just sort of it's intuitive for me to some degree, led me into the marketing space, or I should say back into marketing, because I ran marketing for a nonprofit in Manhattan for a couple of years back in 2011, 2012. And so kind of brought me back into that space and into building websites and helping people with their online presence. But my heart and what I really enjoy doing is creating. I just love to create. And so that is kind of where the Reflections Journal came in. So the Reflections Journal is kind of symbolic in that creativity because it allows me to have that really, that space to grow there. And then, I do all of that sort of stuff in the work that I do for my clients. So that whole creative aspect and the technology, the wellness, it all comes together, and a friend of mine said it so well in my first book signing, my first official book signing, which was a yoga class with a sound bath and meditation, and then it was a book signing and discussion about reflections. And she said, "I've known you for over 20 years. To see you bring all of these things together." So the technology behind creating the book, the creativity with it, and then the mindfulness and the wellness aspect, seeing it all come together, it describes me well, just kind of bringing all of that, bringing all that together in one space. So I love to continue to work on that and bring that to my clients as well. So that's kind of the direction that, as I said, we're evolving in our businesses. Your business has changed since I met you. Mine is continuing to change. And in 2024, my focus is actually focus. And that might even be my word for 24 is I haven't decided yet because I pick a word every year, but it might be focus because I really want to, have these projects, but really start to, I don't want to say narrow or niche down because those things just don't apply to me. But I feel like, to really start to develop something a little bit more focused and be able to help people with their businesses.
And I love saying the word reflections because if we're to look back on 2023, what are some of your favorite client transformations or some of the favorite thing projects that you worked on? Like if we reflect back on the year, are there
Mm.
any things that you're especially proud of yourself for or that you really are like, wow, it's the end of the year that happened in the beginning of the year or whatever it happened and like I can't believe that I overcame that or I can't believe that we finished that.
Right. Well, I mean, obviously reflections, that's a big one. It's a labor of love. It's very intensive, lots of work, lots of, people involved. And so that was definitely a labor of love. And, when you have a vision for something, which it actually, for the most part, turned out exactly as I imagined it was going to be. So when you actually birth something like that and you see it come into the world, it can be overwhelming too. I have to say, it can be overwhelming and emotional, all wonderful things. But I would say that probably is my biggest thing this year. Other things that I love to see, and actually I just sent a client a report today, is like, hey, look how well we're doing on Google. Like, I love to see all the technical stuff, and I won't get too geeky on everyone, but I love to see that, when I take that holistic presence to working on people's businesses, from an online perspective, it's not just the website, it's all the things, right? It's your Google search, your Google business profile, your Google suite, really, or any of the search engines, right? So making sure the SEO and all the content, the meta tags, and all that stuff, and that everything points to the right place. Like one of my clients, I actually said, hey, by the way, your old site is not pointing to your new site. And so she sent me information today, and I'm actually going to fix that for her. So it's one of those things where I have systems in place that monitor all my clients' websites proactively, and I get emails about things like site speed. And so if the site speed drops, I want to know why. If something is not looking right from an image perspective, if a phone number isn't clickable, right? All that sort of stuff. And so I think just looking at all of these things holistically is just my continued goal, and to help these small businesses succeed and have that visibility online.
And what does any of well, I guess we never, right? Sometimes we have favorites, sometimes we don't, but any of the clients that you've had in 2023, where were they when they found you? Like, what were some of their pain points, or what were some of the things that they wanted to work with you on?
Some of them, it's just, one of the things is I'm always looking for additional streams of income, right? So that everybody has their brainchild, and there's, this area of excellence that, for the community that they serve. And sometimes they don't see how that excellence can, be brought into other areas. So things like products or courses. So I helped one of my clients develop an online store, because they're in the fitness space, and they're constantly recommending products. And I'm like, but are you selling the products from your location? No. Okay, well, let's do that. So let's build a store so that you can, at least, it could be pennies because it's an Amazon store, but at least it's something. You're getting something for that, for referring those particular products, for having the care to refer those. So I think, recognizing those things is really important in that journey. Seeing traffic increase, taking something that's a little dated, and helping it. Actually, one of the things that I love this year is in helping community, is I helped, the person I'm talking about, I helped her with a grand opening. It was one of those things where there was some red tape, and I just have some connections, and I was able to help facilitate that. So I think that's something else that, that was a huge hurdle for her, and it's helped us build a relationship. And, now we're doing other things together. And it's just one of those things about building community. And I think that would be something too that I've really worked on this year, is building community, working on, I don't want to say networking. I feel like networking has this,
Weird connotation these days for some reason.
Like, sell. It's like, no. And because you're running,
Yeah.
you're running your own teams and groups. And I feel like, you're someone that introduced me to this community of, well, a lot of women, right? A lot of female run networking organizations that are about community, where it's not where you walk in the door and what can someone sell you. It's about building relationships. And I have to say, I spent the entire month of August networking, because I hadn't made it a priority. And I needed to do that, because I kind of was I don't want to say losing touch a little bit with that.
Yeah.
So, I think that would be another major, accomplishment for me. And that has continued. I wasn't sure what was going to happen with it, but it has continued. And I've developed some amazing, amazing relationships. And they're not clients. We're just, we collaborate together in different ways and help each other with our businesses. And I think that is so important, as especially so many of us are on our own. We don't have teams or people support, and to be able to kind of talk through challenging situations or client situations or whatever, and come up with solutions. It's like 4 eyes are better than two brains are better than one. So all that stuff I
Exactly.
think can really factor into overcoming some of those more challenging situations.
And when it comes to community building, you're doing a lot of that yourself through these different events that you've been hosting throughout New Jersey for this book launch, for right, like different, and even prior, a lot of events that you would do with sound bowls and yoga. So
Mhm.
if anyone's listening to this, what kind of events do you have upcoming that you want to share with us?
Well, this Thursday, I have a book signing in Millburn at the Book House from 6 to 8 p.m. It's low key, just a conversation about the inspiration behind the book. It's got five key areas talking about reflections. Then December 28th, I have it's a small event, very limited number of people. I'm doing a restorative yoga class. So it's about reflecting and celebration into 2024. So reflecting kind of what we're doing right now, reflecting on 2023, and then celebrating 2024. So I'm going to have a short yoga practice with some restorative yoga. I'll do a sound bath, a little bit of meditation, and then we'll jump into a little bit about journaling, like what is journaling? Because people sometimes I think have this idea of what journaling is, and I'm like, let's just break it down to the simplest thing. Have you had a thought and written it down? Right? Did you write a thought on a piece of paper or in your planner? If you still are old school like me, using a planner, I use a planner in 5 calendars and notebooks and
Yeah.
five journals. So I'm using all of the tools to like keep my head on straight. But it's just visiting journaling from that high perspective, and how it can benefit you every day, because sometimes there's people don't give themselves that time and space for self-care and that outlet, right? And so just putting some thoughts down on paper. So we'll do a little bit of journaling, and then we're going to do a toast to 2024. There'll be some
Mm,
fun flavored seltzers and prosecco. We're
mm.
going to do a toast to 24, and that's December. It's going to go into January already. December 28th, from 6 to 8 p.m. in Scotch Plains at Root to Rise Yoga Flow. And then on January 13th, I'm doing a journaling into the new year, which is going to be more of a workshop that's going to focus much more on the journal. It's on the journaling process itself, and then we'll dig deeper into the 5 key areas of reflection and how you can use those to then help you, navigate your 2024.
Ooh, so if there's someone listening to this and they're like, I feel lonely. I feel like I've been doing this entire business building thing alone. I'm
Mm.
not sure like, where do I start, Sarah? You don't get it. Like, I've been doing this alone for a long time, and anytime I ask for help, they wouldn't help me.
Um,
I've been used, I've been burned, and I've been all the
uh,
things. What is
I
your message?
Well, first of all, we've all been there. I mean, I think, one of the things I would say, and it was something that someone said today in one of the meetings I was at, is I think about burning this business every day, burning it down every day. And well, and that's an extreme way to look at it, but but at the same time, it's like, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm here again, right? So you have the moments where you're like, what am I doing? And then you have the moments like, how effing awesome is that? Right? Like that person's business is going and it's doing really well. I mean, I would say if you're feeling lonely, put yourself out there. If you're more of an introvert, keep yourself off video camera for a little bit and just, let the people hosting the event, let them know. Anyone that is open is not going to care. They are just trying to help you with your business and help you, with the community, and create a space of love, and support. And so it's out there, and you'll find the one that's for you. And if you don't feel welcome or you don't feel that support, then that one's not for you, I come from corporate IT in Manhattan for over 20 years, and that old school sort of networking where everyone's handing out their business cards and they're like, give me a call, let's do a sale. I don't identify with that. And I never knew why until I think actually meeting you, Gabby. Honestly, I feel like I needed to meet people who are really more about the 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 compassion in business, right? Where you're trying to understand where people are coming from. I may or may not be the right fit for them, but I probably know someone who can help them, right? And so it's kind of like the Macy's Gimbals thing from, Miracle on 34th Street. Like if I can't help you, I know someone who can. So I think, for someone that's feeling lonely in that space, just put yourself out there. And actually that's a little bit how I was feeling before August. I was feeling a little bit like, as I said, disconnected. I was like,
Yeah.
that's on me. Like you have to put yourself out there, and you have to get out there and do, like, part of doing the work isn't just the everyday administrative, technical, meetings with clients. It's also getting out there and meeting new people and really just creating and building that community of yours, right? Where you're creating that circle around you.
Because I think we all have the ability to do so. We all have the ability to build our own group, which is so extremely unique to us,
Yeah.
to the things that you do and the people that are meant to serve you and that are meant to help you and be alongside you in this journey. But if we don't open ourselves up, but I think that you also have so many different avenues where you have been able to explore these different parts of yourself that I almost feel like perhaps someone working strictly in a 9 to 5 might not have had all these different kinds of opportunities to expand yourself. And that's why I like to say entrepreneurship is one of my favorite things in the world. It's the hardest,
Yeah.
so
It is.
difficult, but the amount of self-exploration and self-awareness that comes from having to meet people from
Yeah.
all different walks of life
Yeah.
and be a businesswoman in front of them. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, oh, that
Absolutely.
person's really testing me. But this is my business. I am the face and I must be professional. I can't just defer it to my manager. I
Yeah.
can't just defer it to someone below me or above me. This is mine. And I think it's beautiful, but also a huge challenge. So I love that. And I hope that you see that as well, that look
Absolutely.
at all the areas that you've been allowed to grow in and flourish in because you have taken like control, right? Like you've taken control of your calendar.
Yeah.
I love my planner. My planner is my best friend. When people ask me, how do you do the things you do? I don't know. Ask my calendar. Like it's him keeping me there.
Like, hold
Like, what do
on.
you
Let me
mean?
check the one. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
let me go talk to him.
I couldn't agree more. And it's funny, it is one of the hardest things to do, and it's not for everyone, right? It's not for everyone. It's interesting. I just had that discussion today and with someone else, and I didn't get to really finish my entire thought. We had to jump off the call. But the thing that people need to know going into entrepreneurship is it takes time and patience and consistency, right? So a lot of times I've been working with entrepreneurs now since 2016, actually longer than that. Actually, yeah, longer than that, technically, like probably since 2011, 2012. And the thing that I see is the give up after a year or two. You can't give up. It takes longer. It doesn't happen overnight. There's no instant gratification unless you've already got a bank account with like hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars, in which case you may not care anyway, right? If you have that sort of money. But it takes time and patience. There might be some crying, there might be some tantrums, there might
Breakdowns.
be, yes, breakdowns, setting fire to the joint, whatever it is. But, at the end of the day, it you just got to keep with it. And you got to,
Yeah.
know that sometimes your vision may not end up where you thought it was going to be, and that's okay. That's okay as long as you keep
Yes.
working towards your dream, your goal, whatever that is. And the other thing I've started to tell people too is, especially new people that I'm working with, is okay, great. Give me your top three priorities today, right? What are the top three priorities for your business? Awesome. Those will be different next year. Like those are going to change because you are going to change and your business is going to change. And so that's what I tell people with their websites too. Like what you like right now in a year, as it is, I've just redesigned my website last year and I'm probably going to work on it again because it's constant,
Yeah, constant work
constantly
in progress.
changing, constant work in progress,
Yes.
and then the Googles and the search engines don't help either because they're like, oh, you haven't added any new content in a day.
Exactly. Instagram, LinkedIn. It's a
Yeah,
lot. It's a
a
lot
lot.
to juggle. And we were joking before we came on and started about all the open tabs
Yes,
on
all
our
the
on our
open tabs.
computers, but that's entrepreneurship is 9 to 10 to 20, 30 open tabs that you're just keeping it to. Let me just keep an eye on that. All right. I got to keep an eye on
Yep,
this. All right. I got to
yep.
keep it. It's like a
Well, I have
huge, you're in
three
a
screens. I don't know how
machinery.
many screens you have, but I have three screens. So there's something like right now we're on one screen, my email is on one, and then I've got, a bunch of stuff on the other one. I mean, actually, I don't have everything's minimized right now, but
Yeah.
but yeah. And you were talking about how the tabs are your friends, and I'm like, well, maybe they're my personalities too. Like they're all
Yeah.
different, all the different aspects of me.
All the
But
different things going on.
the exploration that you can do as an entrepreneur, I think that is the one thing. If you are creative in nature, or if you're not, right? Like if you're focused on as being a financial advisor, right? And you're like kick ass at that, and that's where you want to be, then do it. Just do it, and that is your area of excellence. Let someone like me handle your websites. Let somebody like you coach them, right? So
Yes.
there's everybody has their area of excellence. Just find that person, find those people, find your circle, and just put yourself out there.
Yeah.
That's the best advice I can give people. And keep going. Don't give up. And actually,
Yes.
I didn't pull it out. Well, I forgot to mention my calendar, but I also have new shirts that I've designed, and the logo on the back says "Dream Big." And I did actually I posted about it, I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. But it's got my kind of new logo design on the front, and then on the back, the elephant, and then it says "Dream Big" with Second Life Careers on it. So it's
Mhm.
because I think your dreams, you should explore them. And that doesn't mean you have to quit your job anymore. The world has changed. The pandemic, there are positive things that came out of the pandemic, and one of them I think
Yeah.
is people's ability to work from anywhere. And also kind of have the side hustle. I think it's almost accepted now that everyone has a side hustle. And so, whatever your side hustle is, if you're afraid to step into full-time entrepreneurship, start something part-time.
Mhm.
Start something part-time, build it, get a feel for what entrepreneurship is like, and whether or not it's for you. Doesn't mean you have to, jump into the pool. You could just dip your toes in and see how you feel if the water is nice. So, there's a lot of different ways to go about it, but just do it. Just do it.
Beautiful. I love it, Sarah. And for anyone listening, where can they find you? What's the best way for them to reach out to you? Could you share your socials and your website?
Absolutely. So I have, given I have so many different avenues, I do have a couple of different socials. I mean, the best place to find me is secondlifecareers.com. You're going to see my book there. You're going to see my socials there. You'll find my contact there. There's actually a contact page. Go fill a form out. We can do a free 30-minute consultation, and we can talk about what you're thinking about with your business, or if you haven't figured it out, if you're thinking maybe I want to be a business owner, but I'm a little, afraid to dip my toes in, we can have that discussion. So, there, everything's on my website, and you can get to me from everywhere, just from secondlifecareers.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sarah. I appreciate your time, your vulnerability, which is huge. And I think one of the biggest lessons that entrepreneurship has taught all of us is that vulnerability is going to take you places that your ego told you would never be, but
Absolutely.
because you were open and you were honest and you showed up as who you were, I think it reaches people on such a different level. So thank you for taking the time to go live with me and to chat
Yes,
with me.
yes, yes.
And I'm so excited for your continued success. Congratulations. So proud of you. And I hope that you know that there's so many others that are so proud of all that you've accomplished. And we can't wait to see where you go.
Oh, thank you so much, Gabby. It means a lot. It really just thank you so much for creating the space to do this. This is wonderful. Thank you.